The initial fees to rent in Japan can vary widely and can range from the equivalent of 2 months' rent to pay upfront to 9 months' rent, which you'll need to pay upfront when signing the contract. The initial fee required for housing provided by your school employer should be minimum, probably equivalent to 1 month's rent for deposit. Some employer may not ask for any deposit, but instead require you to pay for redoing the interior of the unit upon leaving, which may include redoing the wallpaper, tatami floor, etc. So you just pay for it. You don't have to do it. The initial fee for housing managed by foreigner-friendly agencies should also be minimum, probably including a deposit. While some rentals may not include any deposit, they will likely include a cleaning fee or a moving out fee. The subsidized housing usually require the equivalent of, I think it's 1 or 2 months deposits, and that's it. For the private rentals, these can include a lot of initial fees. We'll look at them in turn. So there are various types of initial fees you may encounter when renting a private rental in Japan. A fee you will likely be required to pay is a real estate fee, chukai asenryo in Japanese. This is usually equivalent to 1 month of your new rent. You'll most likely have to pay a deposit or cleaning fee. This fee may be refundable in part or in full. We will talk about this actually in more detail in the webinar in February, which focus on tenants' rights and responsibilities. We don't have time to go through it today, but the name of the deposit and its amount can vary per region, so we will look at this in just a minute. Next, for renting a private rental, you will usually need a guarantor. The guarantor system is called Hosho Seido in Japanese. Sorry for my mispronunciation, maybe. And we'll get back to it on the next slide. And finally, if you choose a private rental, you may be required to give some money to the landlord as a gift. So skipping the historical background for the gift money, the important is to understand that this is legal and not optional, but part of the initial mandatory fees. So when choosing a private rental in Japan, you will most likely be required to have a guarantor. The guarantor is a person or organization responsible to pay for your rent or other fees if you fail to pay. Now, keep in mind that if the guarantor company has to pay for your rent on your behalf, you are still liable to pay back the guarantor company for the amount they paid for you. As to who can be your guarantor, not everyone can be your guarantor, even if they speak fluent Japanese, have permanent residency, and a good income. The guarantor can only be a person with Japanese citizenship or a Japanese company. It can be your employer, maybe, or a close relative who is also a Japanese citizen, or it can be a guarantor company. If you hire a guarantor company, it will usually cost the equivalent of 1 month's rent. Again, this is not refundable. You should also note that the landlord has the final say on who they will accept as a guarantor. If you can get the type of guarantor the landlord can accept, your application will be rejected.